Another fun thing you can do to break the mold is take something from the monster manual that you wouldn't see outside of a custom endgame challenge fight and make it the driving force of a disaster. Oh, that's cool. Disaster Aftermath is a great campaign setting. Definitely sounds like it could be a very good time, a very interesting time. Man, yeah, there's so many cool settings out there. Especially since that can go so many different directions. Like, that, it's not at all pigeonholed into any specific approach. You could really take that a lot of different ways, or more likely than not, your players would take that ways that you couldn't possibly expect, and then you'll be scrambling to try and sort out the aftermath of that little disaster, as it were. Yeah, that's one thing Brennan seems to do super well. The magic items and artifacts he hands to players are always deeply themed after them, both in effect and story. For sure, yeah. Yeah, and I'm definitely a sucker for having sessions with like really kind of well-defined, I don't know, pre-briefing, I guess is maybe the best way to put it. So it's just always making sure that you you sit down with your players, or as a player you sit down with your DM and you talk about the campaign. What kinds of things do you want to see, especially what kind of things do you really not want to see. Set good boundaries and make sure that everyone's going to be comfortable the entire time. And on top of that, if you come up with some fun story ideas, like, again, one thing I love about a few times that I've made characters with my partner is I'll talk to our DM and I'll come up with some silly fun flavor thing that I absolutely adore, and then we'll keep it secret from the rest of the group and see how things play out. And it's always an exciting endeavor, to say the least. Especially if you have like predefined prompts to bring it up. I know one of the campaigns we did was everyone had to come up with a secret. Could be small, could be a nothing secret, it could be major, it could change the way that the entire group would view your player. But you just had to come up with a secret, and that was super fun because everyone was so excited about whatever secret they'd come up with, even if it was something relatively minor in the grand scheme of things. I think that kind of excitement that everyone felt was infectious, and it was so fun. Such a cool time. You really appreciate that your DM for your last game set boundaries first thing, sent in what kind of characters you wanted, what kind of backgrounds you had, and you built the world itself around it. Yeah, I love that. You gotta run for now, homie. Thanks for the good stream. No, yeah, sounds good. Have a fantastic rest of your Sunday, if it is still Sunday for you, Crackety. Thank you so much for the conversation prompt. This has been just lovely. Besides the little bit of FOMO I'm getting of just wanting to play D&D again, but no, I really appreciate it, my friend. Have a fantastic week, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Yeah, it makes a huge difference. Everyone is immediately invested in that setting and campaign. You clear it from the top what people do and don't want to see, right? Yeah. Especially since D&D has always been such an inclusive space, I think that it's important to keep that kind of safe space mentality going on into it. Like, you can have horrific things happen, but as long as everyone's on the same page and, it's not gonna, again, make anyone feel uncomfortable. Because that's the worst thing you could possibly want as a DM. You're the trip sitter. You're there to bring everyone along and encourage the group to enjoy their time together, for sure. Oh man, but like a super minor part of even just your character's backstory built an entire Magic vs. Tech country conflict on the other side of the world. I love that. Yeah, that's super exciting for sure. That's very fun. There's a few games out there where one of the moves players can do is actually add lore to the world. Do you think Dungeon World has a mechanic like that? And Fate does. Okay, that's really fun. I guess that's as well something you get once you have played a few campaigns with the same group, especially, and you kind of are all more comfortable with each other, and especially you know the DM well enough that you can kind of self-insert lore, and it's a give and take. You're playing with the DM, you're in a symbiotic relationship, and I feel like lots of times that goes really kind of interesting and silly ways that I love. Because yeah, definitely the first couple times playing, it was a lot of like, does my character know this? Can my character know this? Is that a thing? But now we've gone comfortable with each other to the point where I know generally know when things are meant to be, nope. No thank you. In fact, let's just nope. I didn't need those stairs anyway. But yeah, you know, it's like hanging out with good friends, where you can start to preempt each other's thoughts and you kind of know what they're going for. It's so fun. Such a good time. But Fate is a bit more collaborative storytelling than D&D by design. Characters have traits and flaws that you can get a Fate token if you follow even to your detriment. You can spend the tokens where you need to overcome your flaws or add certain elements to the story. Oh, that's cool. So it's like, what's the new 5e mechanic for that? It's like the Divine Inspiration or whatever, where DMs can reward players for following thematically. I love that, though. I really like the idea of traits and flaws, and then just kind of building within that to create this world together. That's really sweet. I'll have to check out Fate sometime. Okay, I guess we are gonna potentially make new friends here after all. Yeah, do you know what? I'm sure it will be fine. Level 26, holy moly, how the time flies. But back to the Redwall thing. Apparently the cartoon had 3 seasons, each based on a different book. Redwall, Matimio, and Martin the Warrior, in that order. Okay, nice. Yeah, I recognize Martin the Warrior. I was trying to think, what? A different name came to mind for me right off the rip, and now I'm just stuck grasping at straws here, not remembering what I was going for. Huh. Which little rodent was I thinking of? Because it was definitely one of the little rodents. Oh gosh. Welp. Let's not get myself killed while excitedly thinking about all the little rodents. Also, definitely chug some potions. There we go. Haste will do the trick. Get me out, coach. I think I explored all of the top floor, right? Yeah, so we can head up here. Oh boy. That's fun. I'll have to revisit the Redwall books at some point. It's been too long, and every once in a while I love going back to series I read as a kid, especially if I'm really, like, I have a lot of mental load going on, you know, at work, or especially when I was going to university. I felt like all I read was really kind of base level, like a lot of YA fiction, YA fantasy specifically, because it was just nice to kind of shut off the brain, get immersed in something pretty basic, but a lot of times still really good. And I think I'd enjoy going back to something like Redwall, because I don't remember much about that series at all, what little I did read. The best way to end a run in DCSS, get distracted talking about other fun stuff. Oh, and boy, do we ever make a habit of it. Yeah, imagine taking that traits and flaws idea and basically making the core mechanic of the entire game. Players, enemies, NPCs, places, world, all of those traits that can be used for or against them. I like that, especially since part of my love of kind of rolling interesting characters or coming up with fun character ideas is to have built-in flaws. I love to have, traits and flaws. And I find that those lead to a lot of the most enjoyable interactions with the world, which makes a lot of sense why something like Fate kind of embraces that aspect and runs with it. I love that. That's super cool. You've been learning French, and that was your excuse to go back to Raven Feast? Or Feist? Probably Feist, right? I've never said that name out loud. Read tons of the books, never said it loud. You picked up French translations of his books you've read 20 years prior, books you knew you'd like, since reading in French was very slow, it was important. Stories you remember just enough to ease difficulty from some. And correct the second time, so yeah, Feist. I should, Canadian pop star Feist, should have gotten me there. But which series are you reading? Are you reading the, like, Magician? Is it called the Magician series? What is that? Magician Apprentice, Magician Master? I should know the other ones in the series. I guess it's all kind of one long one, like even Betrayal at Krondor and how many of those can I name off the top of my head? Not many. The Rift War trilogy, or Rift War, right? Because yeah, I was thinking trilogy in my head, and it is kind of a self-contained trilogy, but it keeps bleeding on. I mean, you still have Pug showing up in all the later books. Oh, that's a blast from the past. That's another book series that I would love to reread. I read the ever-living crap out of those. Also, Goze keeps giving me haste every time I potion petition. It's haste and resistance, the two things that I'm always kind of looking for. So thank you, my friend. You know, sometimes, I guess, Goze's just got your back, you know? And we're all better for it. I think I'm gonna stick with this though. We're gonna magic potion. Oh, there's probably like a ghost moth or something nearby, right? Okay, let's, yes. Don't worry, game. I'm not actually walking into the travel excluded area, just swinging at it. Yeah, he has a very long series broken up into trilogies and quartets. You think early teen you identified pretty closely with Pug lol? I think so too. I would agree with that on my end. Trying to think of who I like the most. Again, it's been too long now. Martin is the bastard son, right? Who's like the forestry person who everyone loves. I want to say his name is Martin. I don't know, Pug is the only name that really immediately came to mind. I know it's not Arthas, is it? I always think Arthas, and then I'm like, no, that's Warcraft 3, the Frozen Throne. Well, actually, Warcraft 3 in general, I should say. But Thomas, yeah, oh, right. And Arutha, thank you. That's what I was going for, because Arthas is a different prince. Different story. But right, I forgot about Thomas and his entire arc with the Elven Armor. Man, I love that book. Specifically, that original Riftward trilogy has such a special place in my heart. I mean, they're all pretty fantastic. I like a lot of them for different reasons, and I would say, arguably, some of the later ones I do like more in specific aspects. But yeah, something about that one definitely holds that special nostalgic place. Yeah, Arutha and Liam, his older brother, right? Oh my gosh, what a blast from the past. In general, the last, like, hour of the stream has just been pure drip-fed nostalgia straight to my veins. Oh, so many incredible memories from being a teenager. Oh my gosh. I probably still have those books lying around somewhere. I think I probably took them up to my family's place. In fact, I'm curious if I left it at my parents' cabin. Because I liked to leave entire series there, because that's where I did a lot of reading, especially in my like young 20s. I used to go up there to work for the summer and to help out around the house. And every once in a while I'd take any excuse I could to just head out to the cabin on my own, and then it would be just usually like 2 or so days, just chilling by myself in the middle of nowhere. Sitting on the balcony, reading books in the sun, and just enjoying life to its fullest. If I do decide to go back, know that there's a version just called Magician. It's both Apprentice and Master, but as an author's preferred edition, where Feist reverted some changes his publisher insisted on before the series became popular. Okay, I knew that there was the combination of both books into a single volume, but I didn't actually know that it was kind of a director's cut style edition of the book. That's really cool. Yeah, I should check that out instead of... I'm sure I could find the old ones lying around somewhere. But I should check that out. That sounds really sweet. Thanks for letting me know. Another book series that I subsisted off of as a young teen were the R.A. Salvatore books. And specifically, I loved the original like Underworld trilogy. Were they even the first books? I don't know if they were, if he came back later to write them, but Drizzt's origin story, I love that trilogy so much. Homeland, Sojourn, Exile, I want to say. Maybe I mixed up Exile and Sojourn, but anyone who hasn't read any of these series that we're talking about, I mean, if you like high fantasy, I would highly recommend checking them out. All fantastic series, which I guess is not a very hard take or what's the word I'm looking for? Not a very hot take. There we go. Got there eventually. Seeing as how they are some of the most popular fantasy writers ever. But pretty fantastic stuff for sure. You're currently working on the Malazan book of the Fallen books. Pretty wild. Okay, I don't think I've heard of that one. Who's that by? Or what are some of the other books in the series? The Fallen books. I guess depending on how much you want to write, I would love to hear a bit more about it, but I also don't want to put that on you. I can always look it up after the stream. But this is my issue. With books, video games, movies, I guess all media. Basically, there's just too much incredible media out in the world, and I struggle so much with that. Because I just want to experience it all. I enjoy it so much. But unfortunately, time is an exceptionally valuable resource of which none of us ever have quite enough. Except for me, of course, because I am an immortal god king, as has maybe been established on stream before. I don't know. Have I made that joke on stream? My partner hates that joke because I make it way too often. But don't forget to not pick up the orb. Well distracted, just la-di-da my way into the lungs, clear it all, and walk out of here in one piece. That definitely is worth remembering. Joke? Do you mean I was lying to you? Would I ever lie to you? That doesn't sound like me. Of course, it's only a joke because that's what the Dark Council has us say. For legal reasons, of course. Oh. I should have said anything. Well, actually, it's probably fine. You'll know the Dark Council, right? We're all on the same page. But Steven Erikson, it's a series of 10 really long books. Found them because there's an amazing folk or black metal album by Caladan Brood that's based off the series. Oh, that's neat. Steven Erikson does sound familiar to me, so I'm gonna take another brief look into this. Books. Have you just done these Malazan series? Or do I know you from something else? Midnight Tides, Toll of the Hounds, Reaper's Gale, Forge of Darkness, The God Is Not Willing, Dust of Dreams, Murder, Midnight Tides, Deadhouse Gates, Gardens of the Moon. I don't think I've read any of Steven Erikson's stuff. I'm gonna have to check that out. Especially if they're long books. So that gets me back into it. If I can fully absorb myself, especially since I'm kind of in the middle between books right now, I really need to get around to reading the last of the Stormlight Archives books. It's not drums of something, right? It's like maybe rhythm of something. But speaking of Dark Councils, how silly is it? There's an actual position of politicians called the Shadow Cabinet, and we have one as Canadians. We don't talk about the Shadow Cabinet, especially not when non-Canadians are around. Let's make sure not to teach the world too much about our councils. Maybe. I don't know, brain was stalling there to come up with something even remotely clever to say. But okie dokie, I think, unfortunately, because I'm having a ball of a time here, and I just want to hang out, talk D&D, talk books, whatever other things come up, really, because this is all a vein that I absolutely adore. I unfortunately do need to be signing off right away here, so I think I'm going to have to put a temporary kibosh on it. Feel free to distract me when we're back next week, though. I adored the ever-living crap out of this, as I've even used the same phrase in every time. Don't know why adore is always what comes to mind. Loved, enjoyed, all of the above, really. Which, of course, I hope all of you did as well. Sorry if you're mostly here for the DCSS gameplay. Sometimes I'm easily distracted by things that I love, which I'm not too sorry about in the long run, but I still formally apologize for distracting a bit from the DCSS. I hope, though, that more than not, people had a good time. Maybe I brought back, or really we brought back, some nostalgia and memories for all of you lovely folks out there. Regardless, heck of a time this evening. Run went fantastic. Nathaniel still kicking, even though there were a couple of close calls there. And next week, it will be potentially going to vaults and then, I guess, extended time. Holy moly, folks. And just like that, we get there. Crazy how the time flies. In fact, I just realized I usually bribe my way through Zot. I totally forgot about that. Well, plenty of money for the future. Maybe I can bribe my way through everywhere else. Wouldn't that be nice? Thanks later. Thanks later for the stream. No, later, thanks for the stream. No, of course, Jazzy, always happy to have you around. Thanks for streaming, for talking for like a whole hour about other stuff. It was fun. I enjoyed the crap out of it. I don't know, it's something that I never really got into enough on my light endeavor into streaming. Largely, I play for the game content, but I do kind of love the just talking aspect of streaming. I mean, even when I'm focusing on games, I still just enjoy hearing all the little tidbits from all of you lovely folks at home. So no, thank you all for joining us in this hour-long TED Talk about D&D, fantasy authors, all of the fantastic stuff that made up my childhood, but also pretty much makes up my current day as well. And no, you as well, fun, have a great evening. And yeah, thanks as well, not just to those chatting, though I do definitely love you all. Thank you as well to anyone just lurking in the background, or if, hey, you're watching this later down the road through YouTube or the VODs, then thank you to each and every one of you for joining us on the journey. I mean, if you're watching this through YouTube, leave a comment about your favorite D&D experiences, your favorite authors, fantasy books. I'm always happy, more than happy really, to hear what everyone else went through, because I find that it's such a unique experience, or even a shared experience, as it so often is the case with fantasy authors. There are dozens of us who enjoy those sons of guns. But regardless, again, I need to start shutting down my narration here, because otherwise I will get distracted and I will keep talking for the rest of the evening. So, maybe to do so, let's take a quick peek to see who is live at the moment here. Also, make sure I mute my laptop before we start streaming the front page of Twitch here. And it does look like Wizard is currently playing some DCSS, so maybe we'll head over that way and say hello, if I haven't already scared off all the DCSS heads in that direction. But regardless, definitely stick around, say hello. Wizard is always a good time and an incredible player of the game, much more consistent than I am. So definitely say hello, and yeah, of course, have a great rest of your weekend, whatever's left of it, and have a fantastic week. I look forward to seeing everyone next week and jumping right back in to Nathaniel here and hopefully making some good progress. I don't think we'll be able to finish in one session, maybe two, but hey, who knows what the dungeon has in store. So we'll have to see when we return next week. But of course, regardless of all of that, I do hope that you're having a great morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you out there. And I definitely hope to see you again soon. Just remember, folks, we never, ever, even for a moment, didn't have it. I'll see ya.